you. We're glad you chose the Parks and Rec Board. You're in for a big treat. We have a lot of fun. We get a lot of things done. So we have Stephen, who's a voting member, David, who's a voting member, David Jones. We have two Davids. So Jennifer is the first alternate, and she'll vote if there's a member absent. So correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. And Patricia is the second alternate, and she'll vote if there's two members absent or a member and the alternate one. So you don't have to remember this. We'll go over it again. So a couple of things.
Good to ask at the beginning of the meeting whether you.
Yeah, whether I'm voting.
Yeah, and that's a good, yeah, because we forget sometimes, and I don't count who all's here and everything, but we got all our members are here tonight. And also we're recording this meeting, so we'll start doing that. So I want to just kind of talk a little bit about expectations and just kind of give you guys a kind of introduction to the Parks and Rec Board, and then we'll after I do that, then we'll just go around and have everybody introduce themselves. So our mission and vision is to make recommendations pertaining to the operation of park facilities and recreation programs. And our vision is to be continuously aware of the recreational needs of our residents, create, repurpose, and adapt our parks and facilities to meet those needs. So the city council really relies on us to bring things to them. They'll bring up stuff too, but they like us to come up with ideas. So I like to say that we're dreamers. There's nothing that we won't propose if we think that's what the residents of the Farmers Branch want. We're a very active group. Some of the things we participate in as board members is Christmas in the Park, sometimes the Halloween. Hoya's coming up, which in any grand opening events. So we really encourage as many park members to show up for those. We realize, some of us work and can't always make them, but that's, do the best you can. On absenteeism, I think we have 2 absences before you could be removed from the board. I think we can be pretty flexible on that for the most part. 25%. Our meetings are the 3rd Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. preceded by 6:30. Yeah, it's twice I've done that. I sent an email out to all the new members and then had to go back and redo it. So the meetings are always at 6:30 on Thursday, preceded by a meal at 6 p.m. Now, sometimes we'll take December and July off, depending on the needs of the city council. Sometimes they may have stuff that they need us to work on for them. You'll get a packet via email, typically the week before the meeting, and then you'll usually get a hard copy. I usually get mine in the mail on Monday, so I would think Monday or Tuesday. I really encourage you to read those packets ahead of time. The staff spends a lot of time preparing these reports. And so we really need to review those and be ready to ask questions if we have some questions. One thing I'd like to do this year is for the staff just to give us highlights instead of going through everything they wrote, because it's very time consuming. But if you have questions, by all means, ask the questions, because I'd like to keep our meetings where we're not here till 9 p.m. So let's just be laser and not try to beat things to death sometimes. It's kind of my terminology, but by all means, if we've got things to talk about and things to accomplish, we don't want to cut ourselves short on that. Having said that, so let's go ahead and start with introduce yourself around.
Okay. Let's start with, can we start this way?
All right, we can do that way.
Megan Bernard, I'm our Special Events Assistant Manager, and I am applying Texas IGIT or Long-Term Cup Bogo Hill. I graduated from Texas A&M in 2012 with a degree in Parks and Rec, and I'm one of the very few, I feel like, in the universe who used their degree, and I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be here tonight. And any special events questions or an opening question, things like that, you can direct to special events.
Hi, my name is Paul Macias. I'm the aquatics manager. Been with the city of Farmers Branch since 2016. I was born and raised in Denver, moved out to Texas in 2012. Graduated from Metro State University of Denver, then got my master's degree at the University of Illinois. So yeah. And hardcore Denver fan. So highlight for me for the summer is when the Nuggets won the NBA championship for the first time ever. So yeah.
Dave Jones, brand new board member, and I actually moved to Farmers Branch in 2020. But my wife grew up in Farmers Branch. In fact, she grew up in Brookhaven. And in fact, we live in the same neighborhood that she grew up in. And in fact, that we're literally right down the street from the house. I met her 35 years ago when she lived with her mom and dad. So I'm a big believer in happy wife equals happy life.
Yeah.
So that's why we live in Farmers Branch. I retired in October 2020. We used to live in Eagle Street Park. And just love Farmers Branch and looking forward to working on this board.
Welcome.
My name is Steve Stremmel, and I am also a Longhorn. I've lived here in Farmers Branch for over 30 years. I was a commercial banker for almost all that time. And I've been involved in many things that the Park and Recreation Board has been involved in. I was just talking about our sons. My sons, they sound like our sons, involved in summer sunshine, after school programs, a lot of basketball programs, a lot of baseball programs. And my wife and I come up here pretty much every day to the rec center. So they work out and she's all in the rec center too. So, and just a side note on my wife, is she taught over at McLaughlin for 25 years. In the same classroom, and her last day was a week or two before they tore the school down. So,
Wow.
so she knows many people in Farmers Branch just she's taught their kids.
I'm Jan Wooldridge. I've lived in Farmers Branch 20 years. I've been involved with Park Board off and on a good bit of that time. I'm also a Longhorn mayor.
Not talk about this.
So,
Okay.
but anyway, and I've been involved in a lot of different activities in the city and different organizations. So I'm Adrienne Young and lived here since 1994. And we were dorm parents first and then bought a house in Farmers Branch. And I'm a pony.
Stand up. Maria Minter, Recreation Superintendent. I've been with the city since 1995 in a lot of different roles, including taking care of Steve's kids in summer fun. And I remember your wife at McLaughlin. I remember her teaching there. And so I love Parks and Recreation. I love working here. And I'm very appreciative of you being here and your time. I know you're volunteering. So I'm very thankful and I appreciate everything that you do for the city and our Parks and Rec department. Thank you.
My name is Bob Stewart, and like Stephen, I moved to Farmers Branch in 1957 and left and came back in 2014, and I live over in Brookhaven, so I live about 3 blocks from where I grew up. I have 2 Aggie daughters.
Hi, I'm Barbara Leedy. We moved to Farmers Branch in 2005. I've been involved in the Parks Board off and on. I think I'm going into my 8th year now. That sounds about right. So you see me wandering around the city a lot, me or my husband.
Dave Reed, this is my second year, just starting my second year on the board. Born and bred in Massachusetts, so I'm a UMass Minuteman. We moved here 2 years ago. So Farmers Branch is the only Texan town city that I've lived in, and I love it. And I appreciate being part of it.
Jennifer Nelson Smith, new to the board. I'm not an Aggie, but I went to Mississippi State, so I'm in the SEC with her. I have been in Texas the majority of my life, but I was born in Mississippi and then raised in Corpus. BSW was new to me after college, and Farmers Branch is new to me as of this year.
So I'm excited to be here and get involved and meet people, so.
I'm Patricia Lavelle. My husband and I, have a daughter who's at UT Austin, so. But, it's just the three of us, we moved here about 10 years ago. So I've been in Farmers Branch for quite some time, but, I've been a member here at the rec center for a couple of years. I really enjoy it, and I wanted to just kind of, participate a little bit more, give back, and, hopefully help out a little bit, so I'm happy to be here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eliana Vasquez. I am from small town Mineral Wells. Don't know if y'all knew that, but.
West Texas.
Yeah. I graduated with my master's at Tarleton State University, which is affiliated with Aggies. But I'm also the assistant recreation manager here for the facility.
Jessica Alvarado, a recreation manager. I have been in Farmers Branch 36 years, started my whole life, yes. Started with the city in 2012 as the bus driver and kind of been like Maria in many roles here in the recreation division and now leading my team as the recreation manager. I've been a supervisor too, but recreation manager.
Hello, my name is Linda Gassine. I have been with the city of Farmers Branch for 19 years this year, so I moved out here for the job and I haven't. So, welcome everybody to the park.
All right, thanks, guys. And one other note, Farmers Branch does have by far the best board rec staff I've ever come across. Everything they do is first class. You know, there's 29 parks in this city and every one of them are in immaculate shape. All right, so moving on, we'll start with C1 to consider the approval of minutes for the June 15 meeting and take appropriate action. So I just assume that everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Jan, do I hear a second?
Second.
David, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Good. All righty. Moving on to C2, receive special events quarterly report.
Megan Bernardigan, Assistant Special Events Manager. First off, do you have any questions based off the report you received in your packet? If not, I'll go ahead and give you the highlight of Q3. No questions?
No.
Good. Okay, so Q3 kicked off our annual event season after 3 months of planning. Q3 kicked off of our event season after 3 months of planning. We're ready to put all of our efforts into action. First up was Denton Drive Live, and as a result of February's council meeting, our events schedule was restructured and we went down to 4 Denton Drive Lives instead of 6, which we saw this year was beneficial. Last weekend would have been our August one. When gates opened, the heat index was 115. So we are very grateful that we scaled down and ended in June. And I'm sorry, in July. In June, we partnered with Southern Roots for a crawfish boil. They sold over 1,000 pounds of crawfish. It was very successful, and we are looking at doing that again next June. So continuing to build that partnership and have it grow. That event was fun because we brought in Zydeco music and we saw that it became very diverse and very cultured because the music was fun and people weren't. You don't think about Zydeco music to bring in, but crawfish boil, we thought, let's get creative. So we brought 2 artists in, one from Louisiana and then one from like the Austin area who does the Creole music. In June, we also presented to City Council about our new multicultural event that is slated for late March of 2024. We are in the process, by we, not special events, but CMO and City Council are going to be interviewing and reviewing applications for council to pick on the September 5th council meeting. And then our event staff also continued their professional growth and attending curriculum for the Texas Event Management Certification, which was our senior sponsorship coordinator working on getting her final certification to have that. We also finalized our annual holiday lighting and decor bid. You will see Premier Lighting moving into the city in the next few weeks to start Christmas light installation. You may think it's crazy, but it starts and it takes up until the Wednesday before Thanksgiving to get this city lit and prepared for Christmas. So you see them around, thank them, thanks for all their hard work. The November nights, they may be working till midnight. They've been as late as 3 a.m. sometimes trying to get our lights done so that we can light the city properly. Also in Q3, the special events hired their first ever part-time person to assist the team, and her name is Samantha Lindy. So if you see her at an event, welcome her. She's been a huge asset to our team. We're very grateful to have another set of hands and another set of eyes. Our team that does the special events for all of the new board members, we're a team of 3, and we produce all the major events in the city. It's a lot. We love it. Like Bob said, we do it to the top level. So it was a nice asset to bring an additional person on. The entertainment lineup for Blooming Bluegrass Festival, slated for the 3rd weekend in October, was announced mid-June, and tickets went on sale earlier this month. We continued our planning for Independence Day. I know this is Q3, Independence Day is already passed. So we know, hopefully all of you came and it was successful and you thought our planning efforts were great. We will continue to plan for Blooming Bluegrass, and then we've already started looking at our storyboard for this 2024 Stint Drive Live season. Our new graphic artists, we're working on renewing their contract and just continuing to enhance the special events marketing efforts. All in all, it was a fast quarter for us. We're in the height of our event season and about to get even busier going into Bluegrass, Christmas, and Christmas light installation. And a few little seeds I just wanted to plant for y'all to be thinking about. We potentially will be moving the tree lighting to a new location this year due to construction on Denton Drive. That's slated to start in the fall. So be on the lookout for that. We have confirmed that the ice rink will not happen this year due to the construction. So once we know and confirm that the location has moved, we will update you on the location. But we do ask that y'all would still consider coming to work that evening to collect donations at Santa's house, whatever Santa's house might look like this year. It is gonna look different because we may not bring out the house for one night. So we will do something great, I promise. We will not let anyone down. And then I told you about the 17 applications that will be discussed at the September 5th council meeting. And then a few council meetings ago, a resident spoke about wanting to have the national anthem or patriotic Independence Day. We realized we do fun party bands. That's what we do, we party. But we wanted to get your opinion on if we brought in someone to do the national anthem, like an ROTC type of something, have someone come in and sing it. We just wanted to get your feedback on that, if you like that idea or not. So with that, that's everything that happened in special events for Q3, and we're getting ready for a busy end of the year.
Fall season, yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions?
So I'm sorry, your question, the multicultural task force, I wonder if you expand on that a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm brand new.
No, that's okay. So back history, there was an event and we were asked to do something on a bigger spectrum to embrace all cultures of Farmers Branch. So we presented how special events would take this on, and it would need to be having residents feedback, residents on the board committee. We came up with a task force. They went through a month-long application process to apply. The applications closed, and then HR went through the vetting process of background checks, and then we're in the interview process right now for all of the 17 applications. Those applications will go in council's packets to discuss for the September 5th meeting, and council will pick, each council member and the mayor have up to 2 picks to make our task force a board of up to 12 members to plan the event.
Thank you.
To kind of elaborate on that, we had one cultural event and then a lot of other different cultures wanted events, and it just kind of got overwhelming. So they wrapped it all up into a multicultural event because it was really overworking these people.
And we're a team of 3, so it was just a lot, and we wanted to be effective and efficient.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jan.
Megan, I like the idea of the Star Spangled Banner or a little bit of patriotic music
Okay.
at the 4th of July. The Boy Scouts bringing flags. I mean, a variety of ways. You
Yeah.
can probably do it very economically,
Yeah.
but add that aspect. And I've heard people talk about wishing there was a little bit of patriotic music.
And we had never heard that, and so when I heard it on the council meeting, I brought it to the table, and, because we just do fun party, because we think that's what
Right.
everyone wants. So when we heard it, we're like, oh, that's a great idea, let's get your feedback and discuss.
And somewhere in the past, we kind of had both.
Okay,
That was a part of it,
Yeah.
was to include some patriotic music. So
and it could be like a halfway thing, and we'll figure it out and we'll discuss with y'all along the way, but we just.
Maybe,
that's a good
I'm in agreement too.
yeah, maybe you can get the Corps to present the colors.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I
Yeah.
would be so pumped. My little Aggie heart would burst. Any other questions for special events?
Just one more thought on that. I know growing up, that friends of mine always like to spotlight themselves, so looking at the schools for people who might want to sing.
And that's what we were kind of thinking, is there an up and coming school from the high schools, or like Brookhaven, who's in a musical degree plan or something like that, that would want to do it. But I love that idea.
Anybody else?
I just want to say, I support the anthem being played as well.
Perfect. Wonderful.
All right.
And as we know more for tree lighting, and as we know more for Hoya Grand opening, you will be given that information, so.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane.
So before I move on, for the new people, I'd like to introduce you to Margaret Young. She is our board emeritus. She has contributed many, many years to the city of Farmers Branch, and you'll see her name around the city.
Including the building next door.
Yeah. So we owe her a lot. She's really been a trooper on getting things done.
I think that's the first time I've ever been late.
I'm gonna write that down. All righty, so let's move on to C3. Receive recreation quarterly report.
Manager, I don't know if y'all have any questions. You follow probably here for the question regarding our numbers. Go ahead and for those who are new, I can discuss a little bit what the rep center here does.
I would like to make one comment that their cost recovery is up to like 89%, which is just unbelievable.
Yes.
Most cities don't get much above 30-35%.
Anybody?
Well, forgive my ignorance, where is the gymnastics? I was reading that. Where is?
Oh, so right when you enter, it's literally right next like, you pass it when you come into the front desk. So it's literally when you come into the main doors, it's right on the right. Yeah, it's immediately, you probably,
I work out here every day. I just never, I never.
it is definitely hidden. It's
Okay.
definitely hidden,
All right,
yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so to start with our overall revenue, we hit very all-time remarkable high. We're at over $1 million in revenue. And that's from the past 2 years, that's over 118%. So that's kind of remarkable for our facility. And continuing on, that just is over memberships, athletic rentals, events, summer sunshine. We also have Halloween in the park that requires a lot of our man hours, and we parks we have before, and so we plan, that's our big event that we plan out for the entire community. So we're in the midst of planning that now that summer sunshine is wrapped up, our campers are gone. We have a lot of planning to do that we planned before, but we're diving into that now. So as we continue on going over our membership revenue, we've also increased in membership revenue since the last year. We're at 41%. And that's because we're finally renovated bottom level, top level. We've increased, you can compare it to our leading competitors around, the Metroplex. It's remarkable. We have a remarkable facility, and we anticipate to reach over 700,000 in revenue of memberships for hopefully. And as we continue on, for our youth revenue, again, we're doing a really remarkable job. With our revenue, we've reached over $125,000. And this is, for this program, we have our summer sunshine. We have all the initiatives. We have holiday craze, spring during the holidays. And for quarter four, we're hoping to reach over $280,000 in revenue as well. Josie, all of her staff, all the kids loved her. She's our supervisor for our events here in our rec center, and she is doing a great job. She talks to all the parents. She stays here and communicates with everybody to hope, that all the kids and the parents can leave with satisfying faces, kids going home, so many treats, so many activities, and so she's doing a great job, and we're excited. Now that that's done, she's already in the works for our holiday camps. If y'all see her, she's running around constantly. She's super energetic, and we love her so much here. As we continue on, we'll go to our day passes, our revenues, and you'll see that it kind of dropped a little bit, but that we attribute that to them becoming full-fledged members. And so we've increased, that's where our memberships have been increasing as well, but we're still hitting good marks at over $40,000 in day pass revenue. And those are, either people in the community or people hearing about our facility. We have finally finished with our renovations inside, bottom and top. So we're hearing great things with our equipment. We're hearing great things about cleanliness, and we're hoping to keep that as efficient. So we continue bringing on new memberships, bringing on new community here for our facility. As we continue down, we're going into our revenue with our events and miscellaneous. Our events could be, our team leadership program. We had a great team leadership program this year. They're working hard. They're also going to help us with the holiday in the park. So that's how they get their community hours. They helped with the animal shelter while they were here during the summer, and we're just happy and thrilled to have them. We're teaching them good skills to be out there in the community, and hopefully that'll lead them to, maybe even have a career in Parks and Rec. So, but we're giving them all those references and all those skills to continue to up and grow. And then with our expenses, these expenses could be due to our supplies, service fees, for all the equipment that we have. We need to manage that properly. So our expenses are due to our renovation projects. We have finally completed our renovation projects, so our expenses may seem a little bit lower as well, but that's because we're finally done. Hopefully, no more interior for the time being, at least not for these next 2 quarters. But yes, in conclusion, this is, our cost recovery, just like I had mentioned, we're at 89%. Our goal for the entire fiscal year is to hit 80, and our trajectory is consistent. doing a pretty spot on job with that. As we continue on through the pages, we'll go back to what we've been receiving in our revenue, what had mentioned. And our last, we do have surveys, or we do reach out to the community so they can rate us. And with Google, we're at like a 4.7, average rating is a 4.0, so we're getting great marks. And our net promoter score, an average is 50, and that's doing a great job, but we're at an 81. So that's just showing that everyone's enjoying our facility, and we're trying to keep that. We're wanting to make sure we're building, good relationships with the community, our Patreons, members. We strive for quality here, and making sure everyone has a great experience. Yeah. Any questions?
Just a comment, this is excellent. First of all, I've been on a lot of boards and I'm very impressed that you actually get something in the mail with color.
Yeah.
Very impressive, because I had actually printed out the whole thing in black and white, which is much, much harder to read, so thank you for that. This is a minor hit, but just a suggestion for consistency. You start out with FY 22-23 was always in green. But then as you go through, and especially in aquatics, then it's in red. Just a suggestion, if go ahead and pick, to make them consistent, say, okay, if FY 22-23 is going to be in green, just make that consistent throughout the whole document. It's a very, very minor hit. Once again, I'm impressed. You have color documents, you have to mail them to people's house, but it's just easier for somebody to read, because sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's green. You can just minor hit. So suggestion.
Good one. I was pretty impressed that all three holes matched up when I was putting it in. I think one person. Yes.
Okay, so, I know that one of the, goals is to increase membership here in the rec center. But, so my question is, at some point, though, how do you make that decision when you reach capacity? Because at some point, it gets to be too crowded, right?
It's 5 o'clock.
Right. Well, and I personally have experienced that because I started coming here right after COVID. So right, at that point,
Yeah.
and it was right after the bottom floor was renovated, but the top floor was still, not renovated. And then I have noticed, right, as, COVID passed, and then you renovated the top floor, and how much more crowded it's gotten, which, you're striving a balance, right, to increase membership, but at the same time, keep people's experience here positive, and, and feel like it's they're getting something out of it without having to fight crowds to use a piece of equipment. So how are you going to determine, at what point do you start to
Say no.
well, not necessarily say no, but my question to you, what do you do then?
Yeah.
So Jessica Alvarado, Recreation Manager, that is something that we have noticed. And so part of what we've done and what we are getting ready to bring to the council in September is a fee appendix where we are increasing our fees for non-residents. We don't have a high percentage of non-residents, but the ones that we do, we are going to increase that a little bit under 50%. And then we're also going to increase slightly for the residents. So that should table it down a little bit more, the members, the amount of memberships that we have. And then what we are working with our marketing partners is to bring in members days at a time to see it slower. So that way we can still retain new memberships. Hopefully, but maybe we're retaining this age range or this population that comes on these different days. And so we're looking at the different days and times so we can still continue to grow our membership base, but hopefully be able to service more just residents with offsetting that higher membership fee for the non-residents.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Right.
No,
Residents, yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a comment, because I've owned gyms before, fitness centers, and about 10 or 11 years. And what I found is your members telling you when your gym's too full, because they do cancellations. Because if a member comes in and can't get on the machines they want to get the workout in, then they're gonna go somewhere else. And so your membership tells you. And then you cancel pushing.
And we have great relationships with our members. We actually, in the year, we have a lot of a growing kind of like wish list of items, small purchases that our members want. And so we get a few of them saying, hey, like it's kind of crowded, but a lot of them are like, you're doing great. Can you get us this? And can you get us this? And so, you know, kind of trying to buy those wish list items for them to put onto the floor for everyone to utilize, to kind of make them happy when it is a little bit, you know, crowded, or you have to wait for a machine a little bit longer, or you may have to go downstairs when you're an upstairs person that likes working out. But for the most part, the members have given us great feedback. And it's that early morning, 5:30 a.m. and then it's at 5 p.m. until they close. We've been here sometimes at like 9, and I'm like, it's still packed. There's still so many people. Because I know when I was a part-timer and I used to close the facility at nighttime, we would have maybe like 1 or 2 people upstairs when a cardio. Now it's full up and down until 9.
No, but the upstairs renovation was great and really did help with, you know, the number of cardio equipment that you added, so it helped a lot. It's great. Thank you. You're welcome.
And I would like to make a comment, as far as your staff goes, during the renovations. Y'all did an excellent job, because it got to what you're talking about, because this one gym, even we come in the middle of the afternoon when there shouldn't be anybody there, the gym would be full. And the staff just did a wonderful job of managing through that process.
Anybody else?
Keep sending the surveys, and what's the return you're getting on people responding?
So we use 360, Listen 360, and we even have a scandy at the front desk. So if, you know, our staff are talking to patrons like, hey, rate us, how are we doing? What is it that you need? And that's how we receive the feedback. And yeah, we get a good amount, you know, daily, in scoring and feedback. And if there is a low score, we respond, we reach out, how can we help to hopefully, you know, kind of better their experience the next time. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to C4, receive aquatics quarterly report.
Hello, I'll see us again, Aquatics Manager. Before I start, anyone have any questions on the report that was sent out to you guys?
So I had a question about radio sponsors. What do you help me? That's all about it. You have radio sponsors?
We do. So we use a company, Neptune Radio. So we were actually working with special events. Sandy Carter, our
She's the senior sponsorship coordinator, so
Yeah.
she does the sponsorship for our department.
So, as part of we were tasked like to find additional ways to increase revenue. Neptune Radio allows you to sell advertisements to companies, so, we sold it. They produce everything, so I give it the company, just I need their email, contact information, who, what, where, what their target audience is. The company will put it together, they'll send a sample to whoever the point of contact is. If they like it, then they'll produce it and it's downloaded on our laptop, then it plays throughout the entire summer. So when we first started doing radios, because we noticed we get an uptick in attendance with our water park being open. So it's a way to have businesses promote their business. So that is really too.
I noticed your cost recovery was down 14% from previous year.
Yes, so, good, I was gonna talk about that. One of our big things, so aquatics is a lot of upkeep. So this past year, if you guys look on the report on April, you'll see April is very high for expenses. Reason why is our activity pool got a fresh coat of paint and and it fixed all the cracks. So that was a big purchase right there. We do our yearly maintenance for our water slides. That was another additional purchase as well. Then our big taboo that we had, our boiler got fixed and our bill was paid got fixed in March, but was paid in April. So, yeah, and it's, we have a life cycle plan where we go through stuff. And so next year will be Lazy River. Then we have to look at sand filters, replastering. So it's a life cycle.
Is the price of chemicals leveled out yet?
No, it's hot. yes, it's 110 last weekend. So you're constantly adding cyanuric acid to keep chlorine, but it's so hot it burns off. So we're just purchasing chlorine tabs, and they go through. Other companies are doing the same, or other facilities are doing the same thing. So demand is there, and that includes residential as well.
Yeah.
So chlorine has gone up. Acid stayed the same this year, so, which was good. I expect that to increase because it's only gonna seem like it's only getting hotter and hotter each summer. Good question. Any other questions on the report or numbers? Yeah, all right. Talk about some highlights. So as I talked about preparing for summer, so we had a therapy pool boiler was fixed, which helped our programming into the third quarter. So we are preparing for summer as soon as it ends. So a lot of it is cleaning. So staff hours are cleaning, preparing the frog pond, and like I said, we did a big repair on the activity pool. So that was what went into April. In May, we hired a new assistant aquatics manager and a new coordinator. They both started in May. Then we hired a part-time aquatic specialist. She was a former seasonal head lifeguard. She got promoted to aquatic specialist this year. She is an Aggie. We are very, very proud of her. She actually spent 4 summers with us. She did a fantastic job. She actually left to go to A&M this week. So we're very proud of her. She did a great job. So we did staff training. We had HR came in June, talked to our team about resume building. Then we also had fire come in on July to talk about CPR, importance of CPR, and working together as a team. Then so summer training. I'm sure you saw previous years lifeguard shortage. It's still happening nationwide. Texas actually did a really good job in our area. So not many facilities around us closed, which was good for them. We were not. We have stayed in front of the lifeguard shortage. So we did the sign-on incentive this year. So we had 27 lifeguards receive the sign-on incentive. Basically, they pay for the class, but they get that money back for their first paycheck. Then we were 96% full for seasonal employees. So that did not impact us on closing early or closing any features or rides or reducing any hours. Like I said, we have not had to do that ever. But other cities have. A few of them were hit by that, but most of them have recovered very nicely as well. Rentals is very well. After our rentals fill up pretty much in March. So we were pretty much sold out before summer started. A couple of years ago, we started the pre-hour rentals on Sunday. All Sundays were rented out. So that was something, we really got additional revenue. The former aquatics manager and myself looked at doing 3-hour rentals on Sunday. They were all sold out. Only one that did not happen is because we had bad weather that morning. When it happened, if it didn't rain, it seems like years ago now. So that was rentals was the highest revenue that we have achieved. So customer service. Couple comments you see on the Listen 360 is friendly staff, clean. Lifeguards are attentive and patient, are safe and are attentive all the time. So during summer training, I have 2 priorities. I tell my staff, you enter the facility safe and you leave the facility safe, and we have a clean and safe facility. So let's talk to it. And I always preach to them, and that has continued. Our biggest thing that we did this year is we sold alcohol from the start from Memorial Day. So whenever the frog pond was open, we sold alcohol. We started off with happy hour, which was adult only theme party. It is a Parks and Rec is other facilities copy each other. So we saw a lot of adult themes happening in this area. It kind of came oversaturated. So we dove in and did from start to finish. Our vendor, we have a third-party vendor who does that. He was very satisfied with the results so far this summer. And that will continue with next summer. We had 0 issues with alcohol and guests this year, so, before it was only, was never offered in the public sector, as typically your country clubs that only did it. So, we did very well. Our summer season's almost wrapped up. We have 3 more weekends and we will finish up for Labor Day. Any questions for aquatics?
Anybody? All right, thank you. All righty, so let's move on to C5, which is discuss an annual review of Farmers Branch Parks. So about, the city council has asked us as a board to go do a review of our 29 parks. And at the last meeting, so I'll jump in here, Maria, if there's an audit tool. I've got 2 big pieces of things on how we're going to do it, but it's mainly going and looking at the parks. What's the condition of the parks? Is it easy access? How well is it maintained? Is the equipment in good shape? Does it need new equipment? That sort of thing. And so at our last meeting, and I want to go over this with some people took parks that they wanted to do, but we left open a bunch of parks for the new people. So we didn't want to gobble them all up. So what I'd like to do first is just kind of read the list of what I have to confirm that I've got the right names. So we're going to have 2 or 3 months to do this. There's no sense in getting out and doing it in the heat and stuff. So there's no big rush on this. So for Alpha Park, I had Barbara. For Bicentennial, I had Barbara. For Don Showman, I had Jan. For Farmers Branch Park, I had Bob, me. For Ford Road Park, I had Barbara. For JC Park, I had Bob. John Burke Nature Preserve, I have Christy, and I think she still wants to do that. Montgomery Park, I have Jan. Oak Brook, I have Margaret. Orrin Good, I have Barbara. Pepper Park, I have Bob. Rawhide Park, I have Adrian. Temple Trails Park, I have Jan. And Webb Chapel Mini Park, I have Barbara. Now, I had some other parks that I had a J next to, and I'm thinking that was Jessica, but I sent her an email and I never got a response back. So I'm just going to go on the assumption that those parks are open. So if you guys see this list, okay, you're on the right page. So the next thing we want to do is assign the rest of these parks.
Have the historic park for me.
What's it listed under?
Farmers Branch Historic.
Farmers Branch Historic, no. So I'll put it.
And I'm gonna do the community gardens as an audit.
Okay, so we'll just add that here at the bottom, community gardens.
Since I live there these days.
All right. All right, how many acres is that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
All right,
62 plots and an orchard.
all right, got that. So later on, we'll get this printed out so you can see what all is involved.
Send an email, a link, or email the,
Or do all of y'all have printers at home? Does anybody need assistance with getting a print out of these things, or is everybody good? Because we can make that happen. Okay, all right. So I guess what I'd like to do is just go down to ones that are not assigned. I'll just read them out and somebody holler out your name, because I'm terrible with names for at least 6 months. Bill Cox.
Dave.
Dave, okay. Chapel View Plaza.
I'll do that, Dave Reed.
Oh, now I gotta remember 2 days, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm Dave J.
I did Dave R. I got it. That's just the fountain there at the corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be a tough one.
I chose strategically.
You're, Creek Ridge Park.
Steve.
Steve takes that one, okay. Dutch Village Park,
AJ.
Dave J. Okay, Gussie Field,
That one.
okay,
On that one,
that's 12 acres, yeah.
yeah,
You're doing Rawhide and Josie Field?
I've already done wrong.
She said she's done.
The historic park, I did those today, so.
Yeah, well, I walked through.
Holiday Park,
Jennifer.
okay, Jennifer. Kerr Park,
Tricia.
Liberty Plaza.
I'll do that one, Steve.
This is a good way for me to remember names. Malin Park, okay, Dave R. Morning Star,
I can do that, AJ.
Mustang Trails, okay, Squire Park,
I'll do it, Steve.
Steve. The Grove,
I'll do that one.
Dave R. And Wind Park. I'll do that one. I don't know where that is, but I'll do that one.
It's weird. It's a little sliver. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's just a little
Sliver. Yeah, last time I did these, I just got on. If you're not sure where these are, you can get on the website and find those. And that's really one of the questions is how easy is it to figure out where this park is?
Siri knows how to.
Yeah, Siri knows everything.
And you will email us the evaluation forms, I guess?
We can email those out and then I can bring hard copies next month. So, cause it's so hot, I wouldn't get started anytime
Okay.
soon. So I'll have Linda email it out and then I'll bring hard copies. So next month.
And I'll clean this up and give this to you.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, we can send that next month.
Yeah, it's not too hard. I kind of did a hunting check on the website to figure out where they were.
When is our deadline?
I always say like the 1st of November. I mean, it's not a big rush. It's just something that got brought up in a meeting a couple of months ago. And it's really good. I think it's good for us members is to go out and some of these parks, we don't have a clue where they are or we don't visit them. So it's good just to go out and do an audit.
Watch it, ones I've never, I don't even.
Yeah, I did too.
All right. So anything else we need to add to that,
I don't
Maria?
think so I'll bring copies and then we'll have it emailed out. I'm making a note.
Okay. Moving on to C6, discuss the gardens in Farmers Branch. So I would ask, since Carrie's not here tonight, that's something we want to table till next time, Barbara, or you want to talk about it tonight?
Well, Carrie actually came to the garden, to the community garden last week,
Okay,
and we talked about a lot of stuff, but I think at his convenience, because I know how overworked he is, but I mean, part of, that may be something we do want to discuss tonight is the workload we're putting on our crews. Because we are asking them, I mean, like, when we opened up John Burke, they have to go out there now every day and make sure those ADA trails are ADA accessible, which all of a sudden, a work crew that's gotta be a quarter of a day.
but I don't know whether that comes under the purview of our board. We're just,
Well,
You know,
if we see that the parks aren't being maintained to the standards they once were, and I can tell you Malin isn't,
okay.
and do we need to request council look at some relief for these guys that
Well, I would just put in I'm just talking off the top of my head. I would go to whoever's responsible for that and lodge a complaint or a suggestion and let them run with it. Cause we're not really in the business of managing park employees.
I'm not.
I mean, if we see an issue, I mean, we should bring it up, but I think is kind of a one-on-one. I don't know where I don't know. What do you say, Maria? Or Jan?
Well, no, my point was we have citizens coming to us as park board members
Okay,
saying, why isn't this being done like it used to be done? Well, we
okay,
don't have real good answers, except we know the crews have a lot more to do. And you know that the crews are probably not as big as they once were. And so, and now with a 4-day work week, there's gonna be one less day that they're working. So
Now, they are working 10-hour days, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you, by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they're not as fresh as they would be have they left at the 2:30 they used to leave at to come back in at 7 the next morning. You know, that those last 2 or 3 hours of the day may be somewhat inefficient relative to what we used to have, especially when they're working out there in 110-degree days.
and I think it's helping us have a better understanding to help maybe explain to citizens and manage some levels of expectation
Okay.
from citizens.
good point.
As far as the staffing goes, you know, we, we've put that bug in people's ear that we need some additional positions.
Mhm.
I mean, Farmers Branch is growing. There's a need for more public service or public safety positions. The city just hired a grant, I forget her title, but a grant person. And so, I think there's an awareness. It's just, you know, they've got to prioritize where those positions, when they get filled. And so, we are not getting any additional positions in the coming fiscal year, which starts October 1, but I think it is on the radar, hopefully for the next fiscal year. So as staff, I can't say, you should go and say something to someone about that. I mean, if someone
But as a
chooses to
board,
do that.
If we have it as a discussion item, then it is documented that we're concerned about it. And that we've had, I mean, my first 3 weeks in that community garden was all the city used to, the city used to, the city used to. And you were out there. I heard you went out there.
I haven't been out, not to the community garden.
Oh, okay. Somebody from the city had been out there. And they were just thrilled that somebody was paying attention to them to any degree again. And then last week, Ben and Carrie came out.
Yeah. And Ben, he and I talked today too, and he kind of went over some of the questions, I think, with me, just in case so if I can do my best to answer some of those questions that I think were discussed, but, so, you know, there are more projects, like you mentioned, there's John Burke, which before we weren't maintaining to the level we are now. We've got Hoya, we've got people out there, you know, prepping for that. We've got Montgomery Park now,
Squires coming down the road
at some point. So, and the event center, so we've got, you know, and that's in addition to maintaining and doing our regular day-to-day work and making sure that we're still the city in a park. So, you know, there's a lot, but I think the crews are managing it well. And, you know, and then there's been some, with shift in priorities, you know, we have to kind of go where the priorities are too. And so, you know, for example, I'm going to use Paul's facility as an example. The landscaping out there the last couple summers has not been what it was. And it's not because they didn't care and didn't want to take care of it. It's because they were pulled to go do other projects and other things. And so, you know, and then backing up even further, when his building was being built back in 2014, the landscaping around here looked like garbage, but that's because his building was getting all the attention. So, you know, it's a matter of prioritizing. And so, and sometimes some of the projects or some of the maintenance has to get on the back burner just a little bit while other projects, higher profile things are being worked on. So.
And plus our guys are recovering from the freeze 2 years in a row.
Freeze and their droughts.
Yeah.
La Nina, El Nino, whatever,
So it's like
whatever this
we
weekend.
lost a lot of plants and trees with freezing, so the drought.
And we've lost a lot, yeah.
Up and down. Well, it's up and down the past 2 years, so they're doing more drought resistant plants, newer, trying to address that, so.
No, and that's a strong valid point. My concern is we may be getting to a point where we've deferred so long that we're gonna get ourselves into an expensive situation where to recover as opposed to maintain.
About the 4-day week, is it something new? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can,
Guys, I'm not. on-
yeah, I can speak to that. So our parks crew, it started this week. City employees, and it's actually been on the news. City employees, can do 4 10-hour days. So we're not working less hours, but instead of doing 5 8s, we're doing 4 10s. And so it's either Monday through Thursday, which most people are doing, and then some are doing Tuesday through Friday. However, in some facilities like here, Aquatics, Branch Connection, they're still doing 5 days a week just because we have to have coverage at the facilities. So the parks crews, and our public works actually were kind of were the trial groups. They've been doing this. However, it went citywide this week. Parks has been doing this for several months. So.
But it's optional. I mean. How does that work?
It's, people aren't forced to do it. It's that collectively the city has moved in that direction.
I see.
And most people are on board with it.
Right, sure.
So
Okay.
if there's,
I would
yeah,
expect so, yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's a couple people who it didn't work for them, and for facilities, it doesn't work for everybody, but overall, the large majority are
Okay.
participating in that. So our hours are 7:30 to 6. And so City Hall hours have actually been extended since we still have coverage Monday through Friday. So we open 30 minutes earlier at City Hall, and we're open, we were open till 6 Monday through Thursday, and now City Hall's open till 6 on Fridays too. So our hours are actually extended.
What's the feedback been from the employees so far?
So far, so good. It's been really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it, and it is a little challenging because my girls are in college, but my son is 13, so just kind of working out the schedule with him. But I'm off tomorrow, and I've worked late Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so I'm not upset about it. So yeah, so far, so good.
So getting back to the.
Margaret has a question.
Yes, Margaret.
I'd like to address the issue about that. It is our responsibility as a board to talk about it here and have it on the agenda, as Barbara said, because we are the representative of the citizens. So when the citizens come to us and talk to us about whatever the problems are, then it's our responsibility as a board to come back and say, these issues have come up, and we're not trying to, influence the staff as to what they can and can't do, but it's to make them aware of what the community is saying, because that is the job of this board. And then secondly, I want to commend Barbara, because she's been a tremendous amount of hours down in the garden. I hear about you all the time. I mean, it's made a big difference down there, because once we lost a couple of people, staff, that did a lot of work down there and stuff. We didn't have the same staffing that we've had, and Barbara has stepped in and really has done a commendable job.
It's a fabulous group of people, if you ever have time. Plus, we send food to MetroCrest every week. Now, right now, it's not a lot. It was 17.5 pounds on Wednesday. But earlier this year, we were somewhere in 50, 60 pounds twice a week, fresh produce that goes to the MetroCrest Food Bank.
I think we did 99 pounds one time.
Yeah, we did.
So
We couldn't have gone, found that extra pound.
So the gardens are not, are the gardens supported by the city anymore?
Yes.
Or is it off the list?
It's the city and, the church and MetroCrest all support the garden in some way. The church does the land. The city, actually, it's an excellent deal
Yeah.
for the gardeners. Because there's a shed there with tools in it. Ben brings in compost and dirt.
I'm just trying to get down to what. I'm trying to find out what we can elevate up through Maria to the staff of what is the city not living up to their end of the bargain? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
the support from the city has fallen off. Apparently, there used to be, and we're trying to get back to it, a Saturday workday where everybody, every gardener shows up.
But I'm talking about the city though, city staff.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
On those Saturdays, the city staff would come in on overtime sometimes and work at putting, chipped material down the paths to get rid of, weeds, to help turn the compost. Unfortunately, a lot of the gardeners are of an older age, and some of the stuff is raw, hard work. Like just get in there and start digging. And some of these people can't do that anymore. And it used to be that about once a month, I'm not sure they did it every month, but at least quarterly, there would be some guys from the city who came in and
They get
would
paid by
do,
the city.
and they would do some of the schlepping. Now, maybe what we do is we go to some of the high schools. You know, I know the high schools my kids went to, you know, the seniors had Wednesday off and they did service projects. Or maybe we get some, you know, high school boys in here every Wednesday and do that. But we're gonna have to get creative because I don't think the city is in a position to be paying that overtime anymore. And the gardeners have noticed it and they're not especially happy about it. I was at a thing on Sunday for the garden at another facility, and somebody said, "Oh, I used to volunteer at Farmers Branch all the time. That was great because the city was out there and helping." And I was with 3 or 4 other gardeners and they just looked at her and went, "Yeah, not anymore," and walked off. And it's just hard.
So does the city have a budget for the garden? So is there money
It's
allocated?
into all sorts of other things. I've asked Ben for numbers and it's rolled into other things because I mean, it's an all organic garden. You know, there's fertilizers, there's additives, there's, you know, and it's on demand. So when they run out of something, they notify Ben and Ben, you know, gets it over. We need to get to a point where we're doing that. So it's not a piecemeal thing.
I do have some information if y'all, I did talk to Ben and he sent me some information. So, yeah, I think the Saturday work days, especially now that they've gone to Monday through Thursday, having them come in on a Saturday is probably not gonna happen. But they could probably come in on Fridays. He had said that was a possibility, and the city was spending between $500 and $1,000 per Saturday, when they were coming in to do overtime, like for overtime. And he said that he knew it was becoming harder for some of the gardeners to get the compost made, so he started buying. So that's why they were coming in. So he started buying it for less than $100.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff.
So I guess that was kind of we're not going to be able to come out every Saturday. So instead we'll start buying this to try to make it to ease some of that workload. And he did give me some information on cost, what the garden actual costs. And did he let you know that they are adding lots to the spigots?
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting thing now.
So
we had hoped that we could just turn the valves off in each bed, and adding locks to the spigot it'll be interesting.
Okay, so I just want to, I think he had mentioned that. I just wanted to let you know.
I heard that.
Okay, and he, I guess some of the beds, people weren't taking care of them, and he's reached out to those people and they're coming in and cleaning it up, and they're actually taking pictures and sending those to him. So I think some of that stuff is improving. Let me see what else. He did send me some financial information too on.
I know that the water bill is atrocious, but also there's a guy who comes in apparently every night and walks his dog through there and turns on a hose to give his dog water and then doesn't turn the hose on.
Yeah, so
it runs all night. There are kids come in and turn on all the hoses, and
that's what they need the locks.
So we're trying to mitigate some of that stuff.
I'm trying to figure out a way to close it off a little bit. We've had people show up and then just, you know, we've had trees in the orchard stripped bare. A lady a few weeks ago showed up with her teenagers and they all pulled out black garbage bags and just decided it was a buffet and walked up and down the aisle and started grabbing stuff, and when confronted became very aggressive. And again, some of these gardeners are not in a position, if somebody gets aggressive with them, it's not a good thing.
No, and if that happens, I mean, if someone's
But we
aggressive,
call
they
the
will
police.
yeah. Cause we don't, I mean, you don't want them to get into a situation where they're.
It has the potential to be an absolutely stunning garden. The potential is there, and by God, I'm gonna get it there, so.
Well, and I know you've kind of become the primary. So I think if there's a unofficial committee that kind of oversees, and if you're the responsible party, I think that helps also, in getting a primary contact for Ben, because he mentioned to me that he's getting calls and texts late at night too. And I said, well, maybe we can try to pare that down where it's like you're the primary, or if you don't want to be, we can
I actually
designate.
set up a group
Okay.
so that everybody
That's
can
great.
chat with me, and a lot of stuff is actually being handled now because they can talk to one another
Okay.
through the group me. Full disclosure, I just finished my master gardener training. I'm a
Yay.
master gardener and intern. And the Master Gardeners Association has asked me to be lead
Oh, great.
on that.
Okay.
So I'm still in a learning process. I'm still in a take it all in
Yeah.
process. But as Maureen said, I'm out there because I want to lead by example.
Yeah.
And
I
a lot of
appreciate
those
all you're
beds
doing.
things-
Yes.
a lot of those bed things got cleaned up by the owner, got cleaned up by,
Oh,
So more and more stuff is getting funneled through you.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier to deal with the problem.
yeah, but a lot of times they're just going straight to Ben because that's what they've had to do for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And they don't, and so.
and that's just a learning, that's just because when I was doing athletics, I had the same thing. All the coaches were calling me before they said, no, just have one primary point of contact. It's just and so we can work on that, but that's a learning thing. So,
We're gonna have a meeting. We
okay,
talked about it, trying to get a room here and
Yeah,
having
for
a
sure.
meeting with all the gardeners and go through all of the, housework.
I think that would be good, and kind of making sure everybody's on the same page with expectations, and I think that's a great idea.
So
So,
we can add this to our agenda next month to get an update on
I'd
where
wait
we
a
are.
month or two. I'd wait a little bit.
All right.
I mean, we're working it.
I have a quick question. Let me make sure I heard this right. So we got this garden, people go in and work their, plant their everything, and it's not secure at all.
It's never been.
It's on a church grounds.
it's not on city property, so we can't fence it in. It's not on city property.
And up till probably 4 years
Those
ago.
from the church are probably gonna sit here and say, there could be a discussion about fencing.
Yeah.
Fence it in, I mean, that's a discussion, but the city's not probably gonna do that,
You
but
haven't had race.
I mean, you can
Well,
spend,
again, I've only been over there since,
No, we have kids
Oh, yeah.
run at night, do things. I'm surprised.
we just had a car abandoned there across.
I mean, you
Or
can spend,
parking
you can
spots.
spend $100 securing the place, and then all of a sudden it would just die, then nobody would. It's crazy. I mean, it used to be a great garden. I remember back in 2014, 2015, we used to do a lot of stuff out there.
Well,
It's just-
Maria, when that garden started,
Yeah,
I remember,
that was all city putting stuff in there.
I
So
remember.
they put all the water spigots in, they put all
Mhm.
but we made our own beds.
Yeah,
But nevertheless, yes, the city can do some things. They may have to work through the church because it is our property.
yeah.
I assure you, we
Right,
have no
Chapel Hill.
problems with that being secured because we love that garden. Yeah, it's been a real, and if you have not, the new people, if you've not been to the garden, you need to do that. You need to go walk through the garden. There's a separate one that's a church thing. It's a prayer garden, and that's not city. It's just off to the side, but the rest of it is all,
And it's harvest for Metro Crest is every Wednesday and Saturday morning.
All right, any other discussion or comments?
So with that being said, you had mentioned that, people come up to both members of the board talking about different parks and things like that.
okay, the question here is, where is that going?
I don't know.
Where is it going?
Where is it?
Where is it?
Oh,
That's
by
a-
Chapel Hill Methodist Church. It's right off of 35 and,
635.
635.
Frontage Road. You know where they're building or supposedly building the new apartment building for seniors next to the hospital on
Yes.
635?
Yes.
It is just to the east of that.
Right behind the hospital.
Okay, so Myra's closed, but Myra,
You can go up the next one,
Right.
next one, and then.
or you can come down Templeton off of Valley View.
Yeah, you
That
can
will
get to
take a lot.
Valley View or Marsh, you can get to it.
Templeton Trail.
The crossroads, elementary school and behind.
What's the name of the park over there?
Temple Trail.
Temple Trail
I'm gonna
Park.
pull it up on a map.
Yeah, if you pull up on the city map to Templeton Park, it'll get you
It
close.
seems to me like your plan of having a meeting, clarifying expectations and reality of what the city can do at this point in time, and communicating all that to those gardeners and hearing their questions, concerns. That sounds like the best next
I've
step.
noticed just a different in the gardener's attitude in the last little bit, because a lot of them thought the city was doing away with it. A lot of them
Yeah.
truly thought the city was just, washing their hands of it and it's not gonna happen anymore. And it's like, I don't think that's the case. We may not get as much support as we did.
Yeah.
But we'll figure out a way to get it.
But that's exactly why the board needs to be sending information from here to the city council. I mean, that's the crux of the whole thing. They have to be informed.
Yeah.
They don't go down and walk the garden either.
They don't what?
They don't go down and walk the garden
Yeah.
either, so they don't know what's going on.
Right
We're
now,
up there
this
to get
swamp
Jackson,
and
that's in
it's beautiful.
his district, so I ought to talk to him about that.
Well, I emailed him when the construction site wasn't secured. And if I was a 12-year-old kid, I'd be in there.
I'll give Jackson a call. Get to see if I can't bend
Well, I
his ear.
emailed him about that because there were, vagrants and whatever. And there's porta potty right there. There's food, there's water. There have been vagrants.
Porta potty's been there for like 10 years.
I know, but okay.
Gotta move it out of
He said
there.
it's shocking.
Gotta make a target out of
Wait,
it.
when is the meeting that y'all have for here with the gardeners?
We're still setting
Okay.
it up.
Okay.
Ben said he was gonna see if we could get a ring here.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can't pass a hat to these ladies.
That should be fine.
Barbara, you might let us know too, the board, so if any of us want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that we can get a better feel for what's coming.
Yeah, just send us a blind copy or something on that. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, outside the community gardens, when we get feedback from residents, is there a conduit in place, a communication conduit? And is there a specific process or are we just?
No, you can just email me
Okay.
and let me know if feedback that you get and I can address it or send it through the proper channels. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
you'd be the direct contact.
yes.
Yes, one thing I forgot to pass out to the new members, and I'm sure most of us do it, is just go to the dog park and Montgomery Park and just ask people, how do you like things? What's going on? What do you like about this? What do you not like about that? And then we just feed it through Maria, and then she gets us answers, and that gives us some way to give feedback back to the people. Well, we can't do this, or we're gonna do this, or we'll try to do that.
Can we get contact information?
I was just gonna say that.
Well, she just hasn't done that yet, but we'll get a deal, get a list with everybody's names, phone numbers and emails, yeah.
Well, one thing to remember, is you can't send
A group.
group thing out because that constitutes a meeting.
Yeah. The training.
So if you guys,
This today.
so let me change subjects a second. Have you guys gone through the open meeting training and
Yes, today.
harassment stuff? Okay.
No to the harassment, that's tonight. or
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay. All right. Yeah, because open meetings is really, really important to know. So, I mean, you can communicate with each other one-on-one, but you can't do it as a group where that seems like a meeting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing, Maria, we will need to let you know if any of us are coming to that meeting, so that if you do wind up with a quorum there, you'll have to give us 72 hour, whatever.
Yeah, we'd have to know. Yeah, we'd have to know.
Post, if there's two
Yeah.
of us, doesn't matter, but you
Yeah.
need to know how many.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, actually, because we'll
Yes.
be there. If any more than one more of us comes, we'd have to post it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So is
There's
a
a-
quorum
if there's a-
5 or,
I thought it was 5.
I thought it was 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
but if
probably
we-
safer for her to post it in case we have a
Well,
conversation.
we can, even if there's a possibility, we can do a notice of possible quorum.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Okay.
whether, just to be on the safe side, if we
Safe side.
don't have quorum, great.
Yeah.
If we do, then we're covered. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
We could wear masks.
yeah.
So I know being new, and there's a lot of houses still up for sale, 'cause when I was looking, they were there. I couldn't find like volunteer opportunities. My husband and I were looking to go and do things. So is there a way that we announce that there's stuff going on that people could go volunteer?
Animal shelter.
Well,
I don't know
with
what
the
it-
parks.
With the parks? No.
Yeah, or the
Well,
community
You're
garden.
probably gonna start seeing more things that
Okay.
you
Yeah.
can go and do. You just haven't quite gotten to that point yet.
Oh, there'll be
You just-
opportunities now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
This
what I'm saying.
the year gets pretty busy
Yeah.
with opportunities.
Yeah.
Like I said in the beginning, we're an active group, so we
Yeah.
participate in a lot of
But
things.
what about other residents? Like, is the Saturday thing gonna be one of those things that's out there for them?
If they're interested in volunteering, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Ben was telling me that you have to background check anybody who wants to volunteer at the gardens, which when I was talking to other gardens, they were shocked.
The city, if you're volunteering with anything that's with the city, that we do background checks.
But you've done
that like
those
a
on all of
formal
us.
Yeah, yeah, it's part of the
Yeah,
vetting
So
process.
they.
Is that a what?
A quarry.
Participate
Yes.
without having to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But if any,
I don't know if you show up to do something, whether, I mean, I don't know.
Jan said she had to have 3 different background checks this year so far.
Oh, yeah.
She looks,
Apparently, the police, the fire, and the city don't communicate well.
yeah.
So I've had to do one for each.
well, for us, at least in our department, I mean, everybody has been vetted here, so whether you're gonna help at Bluegrass or Christmas or whatever, you're covered.
Yes.
So you don't have to fill anything else out.
I think they're getting better, but there was a point where no, I can't use that one. You'll have to fill this one out. Okay. Okay.
They're just
Right.
making sure you're.
Anything else on,
Yeah. They're worried about.
the gardens?
No, let's hold off on bringing Carrie in for a time or two, see how this settles out.
All right, just let us know.
Yeah.
I mean, we can put it on the agenda every month. We don't have to do it. Okay, that way, in case you can come next month or just whenever you feel ready. All righty. Moving on to C7, discuss the election of officers. So this item is discuss options for the election of officers, including vice chair and secretary for the July 23 to the June 24 term. So we leave this open for when new members come in case, we want to give everybody the opportunity to be either the vice chair or the secretary, huh?
The volunteers, you was asking.
So, the vice chair, what their responsibilities would be to stand in for me if I'm not able to attend this meeting. I do a quarterly mayor's luncheon with the other heads of the boards, which is kind of interesting. If I, couldn't attend that. And then, I do a semi-annual presentation to the city council, a PowerPoint. Now, I would do that like I stood in for Jan when she was the chair. She did all the work and I just did the presentation. So that's really the 3 things that the vice chair would do. Secretary records the minutes of each meeting. I think we have a template, so it's fairly, I can say it, fairly easy to do.
You don't have to type when Linda does that.
Yeah.
Just give it to somebody.
So what I'd like to do first is open up the chair for anybody that would like to be the vice chair. You can nominate somebody or you can nominate yourself, I think. Does anybody would like that position? If not, I'll nominate somebody. Anybody? Then I'll nominate Jan.
No, I've been there, done that, Bob.
Well, you don't have to do
Let
anything.
somebody else do it.
Okay.
I have a lot on my plate right now.
Would anybody like to do it? Golly, come on. Be proactive.
You gonna walk me through it?
Absolutely. All righty.
It's gotta be a regular member.
It's gotta be a regular member. Oh, I'm sorry. So
But you get credit for offering.
you get credit.
I'll do it
How to
then.
do it.
David, all right, so we'll nominate Dave
Everyone else assigned.
for vice chair. Most likely you won't have to do anything. All righty, so any,
Except for put it all together for him and then let him present.
Do I need to second the?
but not yet, second. All those in second nomination for Dave, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Got it.
I oppose.
All righty, how about for board secretary? It's a very important job.
Barbara doesn't want to do it anymore.
This means Barbara's plate is so full with that garden.
Barbara's
Yes.
busy with her hoe.
Yeah, I figured I'd do the vice chair.
Yeah.
So that way I can make it up as the secretary.
That was a strategic move.
Now we know.
The,
Too bad that one was voted on first, huh?
well, let's see. Golly. I don't want to put somebody on the spot. I'm gonna have to. Well, since Stephen ran a bunch of gyms, I'll nominate Steve.
This really isn't into my specialty.
Well, let's get you out of your
Can
comfort
you
zone.
write? Can you write? That's all that's required. Take notes.
We'll get you a template.
Okay.
All righty. I'll nominate Stephen.
I'll second.
Dave second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries. Thank you two guys for stepping up.
Was I supposed to take notice?
Barbara's got you covered tonight.
Okay.
She was kind enough to.
I did it for 5 years.
Yeah.
All righty, so we'll move to C9. Receive an update from board members on parks. Is that right? Oh, CA, I missed one. I'll receive the Parks and Recreation Departmental update. That'd be from Maria.
Okay. I'll just go over this quickly, and if y'all have any questions, let me know. John Burke, and I'm assuming you guys read this, so I won't go over it in great detail. It's done. If you've been out there lately, the pond is completely empty. It's completely dry. So we need some rain. So if y'all can help out with that, I'd appreciate it. And the restroom building is in. They're just waiting to get the permits and the legal stuff, and they can get the sewer line put in. So hopefully we'll have that done next month. Any questions about John Burke? It looks great.
Sewer line, I thought that was going to be a pump up, that the sewer line was so far away that they were gonna have to pump that out every.
No, it's sewer. They're
They're
waiting on the permit from TCEQ and then the signed septic permit paperwork back from legal. And then they'll put in the,
Okay.
so.
And just background, we couldn't get John Burke built for 5 years because it wouldn't stop raining.
Right, I know.
We couldn't get it to stop moving. It was floating
So-
around.
It says septic permit, but they said sewer lines when I talked to them, so whatever you need to flush the toilets, that's the pipes for that's what they're waiting on.
It seemed like it was a
Final
7
destination.
Yeah, so right now so
I
don't
do
use
think
it.
it's a septic.
You might,
Yeah.
because it does say septic,
It's
so,
water with a
I think it
septic
was
tank.
1,000 feet of sewer line they'd have to run to get.
so
through that.
that's probably correct. So just whatever to flush and pipes to send it off, that's what we're waiting for.
Can't do it.
But it's really great, so go out there if you haven't been out there. It's one of my favorite little parks.
Just don't skip on the centipedes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or the water moccasins.
Well, those I don't worry about. Those
I don't
other
know where those are.
dang.
Well, I guess the river. Hoya, I want to show you something. Hoya is coming along. It's been in the news, so hopefully you've seen some of that stuff. We are hoping to have the groundbreaking later this fall. Not groundbreaking, grand opening in the fall. The sphere is mostly completed. It looks a little scary right now, but it will be enclosed, so it's not going to be like a giant climbing thing, what it looks like right now. But I wanted to show you the time lapse from, let me see. If I can do
If you want to
this.
climb it, get out there now.
So. That's the live stream.
Well, you gotta climb the fence to get in there. That's not.
I know.
Look at it, it doesn't look at it, but then to look and see that person up there, I'm like, wow, this thing is.
Well, they were
huge.
taking the nets out of the box, the nets for the different levels.
Yeah,
They were upgrading those today.
I can't wait to get on
So
that thing.
this is from a few days ago. So this is, the end is from a few days ago, but this is the time lapse.
That's so cool.
I think that the end is like a week ago. So there's been a week's worth of progress, but this is pretty cool.
Is there a live feed on the camera?
Yes.
Is there a link to the live feed?
I don't think they're gonna post it online. I think they're just gonna do stuff like this where we,
Okay.
because we posted a, time lapse on Facebook and in the branch bulletin or in an email.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're gonna have the live stream on the website.
Starting to put it together.
No, I walk it twice a week and I sat there for 15 minutes in the heat watching them play with it.
Well, I watch them. I love to watch construction like that.
For a few days.
Grand openings?
Hope sometime in the fall. We're still working out exactly when. We've just got to get a few more things in place before we can say for sure when we feel comfortable about doing that, but it's
Can you
gonna
tie it into the pickleball thing?
Probably November.
it'll be, I don't think so. I think that's gonna be its own.
Yeah, I'm
Big
just saying
event.
you could, that could be, we have this available and maybe, because that way you'd get nationwide coverage.
Yeah, we brought that up and I think they were like, oh, that's its own thing and this is, 'cause we actually, that's a good point. 'Cause we'd actually thought about that too.
Okay.
And it was also,
November 5th.
it's also.
My daughter is a big pickleball fan. I love pickleball.
Oh, was it? I didn't see that one. So that's us on camera.
Yes.
So,
I was starting to do a little grooming there.
But you got like 32 courts.
Yeah, I can't, I see them all the time, but I can't remember.
if y'all are interested, at the last city council meeting on Tuesday, Allison and her economic development team gave an update on the pickleball tournament during study session. So you can go back and watch it if you're interested on the city's YouTube channel. Just watch the study session part and they gave an update on that tournament. And there were some good questions asked. So it's really going to be quite an event. So we're really excited about that too, but feel free to go check that out. So back to Hoya. It's coming along. You've seen the progress. If you drive by, you can see it. Again, grand opening later this fall. And once we have some more details worked out and we can share that, we will be sure you get that information and you'll get invites. It's going to be so fun. Any questions on Hoya? Okay, event center at the historical park. Is everybody familiar with that project? Okay. Okay, great. It is in progress. The concrete slab was poured recently. The beams are, the framing's coming together. They're erecting it this week. And so that's in progress. And so we're hoping for spring 2024 opening. It's actually, I think, a little bit ahead. So if it's done a little sooner, that might be a thing. So we're going to stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. We're excited. Okay, branch connection renovation. Any questions on the event center?
How early are y'all gonna start taking reservations?
Pretty soon. Actually, Lynette has already booked one. She's the event center manager. She's already booked one. So if you're interested, I can give you her contact information. We just got the okay from council on the fees. We had to take the fees to council for approval. And so we were waiting on that. But Lynette has one, I think, booked for November of next year. So, but if you're interested, I can give you her contact information. The branch connection, we are waiting on the contract docs to come back, the finalized stuff and some paperwork from legal for review. We should have that back in the next week or so, and then hopefully go out to bid in September and then start construction later this fall. So So stay tuned on that. It's just kind of, right now, we're just waiting to get the last little bit of paperwork done and then we can get the ball rolling. Because it is the, renovation is pushed out farther than we originally expected. The craft fair, which is held in October, and game night, which is in September, will be at the Branch Connection. So those are moved back there. Any questions on Branch Connection? Mercer Park, if you're not familiar with that, area, it's over on the west side of town. Mercer Crossing area, so near Luna Valley View. Yeah. That is kind of on hold. There's not really any new updates since the last meeting. There's the dirt pile out there. They've been moving dirt. I think they're supposed to be hauling some of that off pretty soon.
I'm starting to see some, like pipe laying and, all that stuff taking place. I live in that area.
Okay, yeah. So as far as the park goes, there's not a whole lot of progress, but I think with the development, that kind of stuff
Right,
happens.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that has to be completed before the park is
It's-
completed.
I'm not, I don't really know. I don't want to tell you something I don't know. So I could tell you and I would be making it up. So
But the big pile of dirt's still there.
it's still there. They were
Static
at council
display.
on Tuesday and I think they talked about getting rid, maybe not totally removing it, but getting rid of a lot of it. So it's not as visible. So, so stay tuned. There's not really any updates on Mercer Park. Kind of the same thing with Squire. I believe the council is from my understanding, they're in favor of it, in favor of having, funding in the budget for it for next fiscal year. So I think if all of that gets approved, then they'll start work, next, year, and then tentatively fall of next year, it'll be open. So,
Do we have it says that a layout was presented to them. Do we have a layout that we can see?
I don't have it with me, but I can get it to you. They presented it at council. Mike actually did that, I think last month, so I can find it and get that and send that out to y'all. So, I want to say he wasn't super in love with the renderings, but it's kind of a general, it's okay, but he wasn't in love with it. Is that right?
Well, I don't know his opinion of it, but I know we certainly had questions the last time we saw something.
Okay.
Some of it didn't look very feasible for that neighborhood
Yeah.
park, so it would be good for us to get to see
Okay.
it again.
So I will,
Can you put it on the?
we can put it on for next month. Yeah. Yeah.
Next month.
We can do that for sure. Bark Park repairs, I did find out that they, the hoop, we have to replace that hoop that's out there that got damaged. We have it, we just have to schedule the install, so it's a matter of getting a couple things done first with other projects and then getting out there to do it. So, they're hoping to do that soon. I did talk to Carrie and Mark about it, because originally they'd said it would need to be closed for a few days because it's in the concrete and you have to let it dry. But then Carrie said they might be able to just fence it off and keep it open. So once I know more about that, I can let you know. And then really with the historical park trees, I don't really have another update. There were 8 mature trees taken out. They were diseased. Some of those were diseased and had to be removed. There was 4 ornamental trees and a privet hedge that were removed. And that's related to the construction with the event center. And once that's done, they're going to strategically plant some trees and some amazing landscaping around the event center. So that is what I know about the historical park trees. Any questions on, yeah.
Well, not about that specifically, but we haven't done this in a long time. Could we think about scheduling a time and getting the city bus and doing a tour of some of our parks and things? Because we've got lots of new people who don't even know where some of these are.
That's true.
You know.
I know where 3 of them are.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. But just going through and.
Yeah, we could
seeing some of
schedule that for like a Saturday, yeah.
I don't mean right now,
Yeah.
but, you know, it has been part-time since the last time.
Yeah,
we
it's
did
been
that.
about 3 years, 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Mhm.
What did y'all do last year when it was the day of the Hoya preview party? Y'all were doing something.
Well, we went out to see
That
John
was
Birch.
first.
before
Oh, is
we
that what
came.
it was?
Yeah.
Okay,
We did
okay.
that day.
So I remember y'all
Yeah,
pulled
we
up
did
as we were getting done,
Right.
getting started.
Yeah. we
Okay.
did Go look at it specifically.
Okay, yeah, we can, maybe we do that
Maybe
in,
like October,
Yeah.
November, probably.
Sometime when it goes
November.
off and we
Yeah. Yeah,
organize
it'd be
that.
good to do that,
Yeah.
especially we've got 4 new members, yeah.
yeah, definitely. Okay,
All righty, moving on. Receive an update from board members on parks, programs, events, or facilities attended in the city of Farmers Branch. So for you new folks, what this is a time where you can talk about something, maybe you attended an event, or we can give feedback to Maria, what we liked, what we didn't like, or just, just general comments. So we'll have this in the agenda every month. So if there's anything that you attended this past month that you want to talk about. I don't think there was a whole lot.
Independence Day was
Yeah.
great, but I did hear comments before Megan even said anything about no patriotic music.
Yeah,
So that's out there. People would like a little bit of,
more
that's what
patriotic.
it's all about. So they
Yeah.
want a little bit of patriotic music.
I think the last 2 years, I don't think we've ever had any.
No, we used to, but we haven't
The
recently.
last couple of years, yeah,
Yeah.
now that you mention that, I was thinking back to last year too.
Yeah.
Anything else? All righty, then the very last item, C10, is to discuss agenda items for future Parks and Recreation Board meetings. So we can't talk about things just on the spur of the moment. So if there's a subject you want to talk about, we need to get it on the agenda for next month. Because we have to publish these 2 weeks in advance to give everybody an opportunity for anybody that since this is an open meeting, we can only discuss the items that are on the agenda meeting. So if there's something you would like to talk about next month, we need to tell Maria now so she can get it on our agenda.
I have Squire.
Squire, okay.
Community garden, if you're ready for some level.
If we can get everybody together and get that,
Yeah.
When do
I'd
you want
like
to
to
put?
get that meeting done.
So might as well put it
We put it on the
there.
agenda. We can table it if there's nothing to talk about.
Or
Okay.
if you meet and then if you want to just discuss what you meet about, so.
Just an update on events that are going in the fall. Fall is a
Okay.
big event season for Farmers Branch, so I would like to just,
Like the relocation of Christmas, if they know it by next month. Or,
It's gonna be in January.
Yeah. They moved it till morale improves.
That's right.
You thought we meant relocation of address. We actually meant the month.
Yeah,
So we'll keep you updated on that. We're just working out the details.
okay. Anything else on the agenda item? All righty. Well, I think that's it.
I move to adjourn.
Jan second.
no,
Oh, I thought you,
was gonna say something, but,
well, go ahead. I didn't take
Yeah,
this.
but it had,
okay, you did second. Do you want to let the new people know about kind of what we typically do that first Saturday of December so they can put it on their calendar of helping with Santa's house?
Oh, okay.
Megan.
Maybe
yeah.
mentioned it, but they don't know what.
Okay, so what we do for Santa's house is, there's a Santa's house there and we kind of manage that because we also collect money for the Funshine Scholarship.
Youth scholarship.
Youth scholarship. So there's a ramp going into the Santa Claus house and then there's stairs going out. So we need traffic control on one side and on the other, and actually I think we try to collect the money. We try to get everybody to give us like $5. And then on the other side, we pass out candy canes to everybody and help them get down the steps. And
Take pictures with Santa.
yeah, last year, so we may need a team photographer because we had Rinkish ended up getting everybody's iPhone, taking pictures of Santa and the kids, and it's a well attended. Everybody loves that, so that's why we need the management for lines. So we usually try to we'd like everybody to attend, and we can also do it in shifts. I think what time do we cut off? Like 9 o'clock or so?
I think so.
It's 9 o'clock, so think about like maybe we generally get there like at 4:30 or 5, so we have a crew from 5 to 7, 7 to 9, or you can stay there the whole time. I mean, it's not a mandatory thing, so just think about it, because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that gets shut down while they do the tree lighting, so you don't miss out on any,
Yeah.
on any of that
We
activity.
don't know how all that's gonna flow this year.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. And we generally don't do anything on Halloween, even though one year we did do a booth, but,
Jan and I volunteered for the haunts and houses, which is the little trick or treater separate event from Halloween in the park at the historic park. And if anybody wants to do that, they're always, because they have stationed at different structures, and then the kids come up and you put treats in their little
yeah.
baggies, and you get to see them all, and it's a very family, you'll see
Yeah.
generational families coming, it's a nice little fun event.
And it's
So
4 to 6, I think,
Yeah.
or something like
And it's a
that.
lot of fun, and they have booze and brews, so you.
That's why I was wanting an update on,
Yeah,
on the
that's true.
phone, so that we can
Yeah.
know where we can
That'd be
join in
awesome.
and help.
And for the new people, for the October meeting, everyone comes in full costume.
Food costume, yeah.
Fun. Why not? You're a troublemaker.
All righty.
I was wearing this in Massachusetts.
All right, I had a move from, I have a second from Dave. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All righty, we'll see you back here for dinner at 6 o'clock, third Thursday next month.
I'll just email you that, I'll give my today.
And I'll email you this list.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Get that sent. And then here's a couple of my cards. If anybody needs my email, if you need to email me, so. And then, Jackie told me that yeah, back, we just took it over. Renting their. Let me reach out to Bobby Shaw. I know. Yeah, let me email Bobby.
Y'all need a snack?
If you're okay with that, and just say, hey, or actually text him, just say, Lenny, I've had plenty. You're not answering.
It says he has a decision about the facility. So when they take the tree out, they just chip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's, you know, that's exactly.
Yeah.
My house is cardboard and all.
Yes.
I have a chip drive. So right now I have a bunch